views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good yawning this morning. Welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Tuesday, the 19th of May, 2026, and you are on the clock with Erin Greene. The full show today, of course, we're going to continue our post-election review. We're looking at the composition of the cabinet and the new portfolios, along with some questions about what to look forward to in this new administration. I got a little housekeeping to do. First of all, I'm looking for soap bush. I'm looking for soap bush, soap wart, and soap apple. I'm looking for soap bush, soap wart, and soap apple. I'm also looking for beigerina. Last night, I had a beautiful tea blend of broadleaf thyme, oregano, and blue vervain, all picked from my garden. But now I'm looking for beigerina, the best bush blend I ever had, not necessarily in terms of taste, but in terms of efficacy, how efficient it was, like how well it performed, was a blend of aloe, cerasee, and beigerina. Knocked out a chest infection in 24 hours. Now the doctors can say, Erin, they ain't no real numbers. Let's just say I had a nasty chest infection, and in 24 hours, I had immediate relief. So I'm looking for some beigerina, some soap bush, some soap wart, and soap apple. Also, big news in the next few days, the EMS, that's the Emergency Medical Services Blood Drive Day. That's this Wednesday the 20th of May, 2026, from 9 a.m., that's 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the National Emergency Medical Services Base. That's the NEMS base on University Drive. There's going to be a community outreach, free breakfast for the public, particularly people giving blood, free health screenings, pressure and glucose included. There's a toys and toiletries drive, along with a special request for O positive blood in a Wims, a Grand Bahamian. That's on Wednesday, the 20th of May, the EMS Blood Drive Day. Then, on Saturday, May the 23rd, at Holy Cross Grounds. At Holy Cross Grounds, we have the Battle of the EMS Departments. I didn't know y'all just be doing fun things like this. The team at EMS says they just spoke to Doctors Hospital, Superior Care, and Bahamas EVAC. And they say, let's just say they are ready to take home the trophy. Listen, guys, I didn't even know that the EMS, emergency medical technicians, and the EMS staff have their own championship. They say, who will be the rising EMS champion for the 2026-2027 EMS year? Who will carry home the floating trophy and hold bragging rights for one full year? NEMS department, Doctors Hospital sent a warning message. They say, when you come stepping. Don't come with less than 5 persons on your team. Get your teams ready because the battle of the EMS departments is about to go down this Saturday, May the 23rd, 2026, at Holy Cross Grounds. I'm trying to get the starting time because when I put this Tiger Balm on my knees, it needs 30 to 45 minutes to set in. It needs 30 to 45 minutes to set in. For those who are interested in being a spectator, cheering on their favorite EMS team, call the NEMS base for the start time of the event this Saturday, May 23rd at Holy Cross Grounds. Listen to the games and challenges that are going to be played on Saturday. Carry the captain. Carry your wounded partner challenge. Relay match. Best IV and circulation challenge. Surprise team challenges. Tug of war. EMS obstacle course. And more prizes and competitions. EMS says this is not just a game. This is pride, teamwork, strength, and bragging rights on the line. So once again, who will be the EMS Rising Champions for 2026-2027 at the Battle of the EMS Departments? And this looks like this could be fun. Look here. Which carry the captain or carry your wounded partner challenge? I feel like carry the captain is the same as carry your wife, and carry your wounded partner challenge is the same for the wife as carrying your husband, or for the husband you get carry your wife and your children. This looks like this is going to be fun. I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Johnson from NEMS base for sharing this with me so I could share it with y'all. Battle of the EMS Departments. Y'all, let's get out there and support our emergency medical services teams, because they always out there to support us. Now, we got lots to talk about. Like I said, we're doing a post-election and Davis administration review. We're looking at senator choices. We're looking at who got in the cabinet and who didn't. We're looking at portfolio changes. And open the line for some calls. But first, before we get there, did anybody see the image posted by Trump, President of the United States, yesterday on the internet? Trump shares an image showing him walking with an alien who seems to be like he has on cuffs. The alien has on cuffs. Maybe they're under arrest. Now, most of the stories I saw framed this as obviously Trump sharing an AI image. See, I guess that's the basis of is it a proverb? Is it an adage, an axiom? The boy who cried wolf. I'm really interested to know, because this is the President of the United States of America, right? And we do take everything that America does seriously. Are you ready for disclosure of aliens on the planet Earth? I don't know, it just shocked me. I wondered if anybody else saw it. And how are we treating it? Are we treating it like most mainstream media? Now, mind you, right? Mainstream media is not saying that it is fake news that Trump did not post it. Trump posted it. The question is the image an AI image? It must be an AI image. I cannot imagine that if there were aliens on Earth, that Trump would share it with us, like us lowly plebs. And do you want to know whether there are aliens walking amongst us? Are you just happy or comfortable? Are you just cool with suspecting? Because I suspect that many of us here are not from Earth. I don't know where you're from, but the way that y'all drive, you can't be from Earth. Okay, now since we're talking outer space, I'd like to follow up, a quick update and follow up to my BTC saga. I've been without various BTC services from Thursday afternoon. We're still down Fortunately, I was able to get a visit from the technical staff. Now, let me just say, my first encounter was not great. My second and third encounters with BTC staff were awesome, I spoke to a customer service rep. I think her name was Stephanie. I have it written down in my notes. She was just amazing. And then a young man by the name of Devante visited the home. He was also polite and professional, so much so that even though my problem is not resolved, I still feel a lot better about it. And that is the beauty of good customer service. That even when you're looking a customer in their face and telling you there's no way that you could resolve their issue, they leave the experience feeling good, feeling like you tried, feeling like you cared, even if you don't. And that's the magic of customer service. Now, the unfortunate part is that in the midst of all of this waiting for my BTC services to come up, my Cable Bahamas services went down. Right? Remember I tell you all, you want to be a real human in the Bahamas, you have to have at least 2 telecommunications providers in your home. Well, both of them are down at the moment, which leads me to an important point. I know y'all thought I was going to complain. Here's the important point. On yesterday's show, when I mentioned this issue, a texter sent a message that suggested that there may be a link between an extended power outage in the Eastern District and the loss of services for telecommunications customers. Now, that thought excited me. Why? Because it's a thought that I've been thinking for the last 20 years. It gets better. It's a thought that I have reduced to writing and shared with both telecommunications service providers and the power company. For 20 plus years, I've been begging these entities, first of all, to talk to each other. Second of all, to explore whether irregular power distribution may be detrimentally impacting the equipment of the telecommunication service providers that share the same physical infrastructure with the power company. For 20 plus years. See, when you all see why Erin so critical about everything, when y'all say that, it's one or two of y'all who would say it, and I know who you are. When y'all say that, it's because for over years, I have been identifying and clearly articulating issues that don't only affect me, but affect my community, or more broadly, the country, for the people, the stakeholders, the leaders in those sectors, to make a conscious and overt decision to ignore what I'm saying because it's me saying it. So yeah, it turns out that maybe I am experiencing what could extend to a 2-week service outage. Because nobody in the country is willing to consider whether the ineffective and inefficient and substandard distribution of power by the power company is impacting our telecommunication services. Sometimes it just be as simple as that, you know. Sometimes people be upset just because of a little bit of gas. In this instance, a whole bunch of hot air in an entire sector. Like the hot air is just floating it. Thousands of customers across this island have been waiting for decades, like 2, to qualify it or quantify it, 2 decades for actual service that is commensurate with what you, the service provider, says we are receiving. That's it. That's all. That's why the Trump the Trump alien video excited me so much. Because maybe the humans don't know what to do, at least not the humans here. Maybe they don't know what to do. Maybe it's time for the aliens to take over. Like I said, Texter says, Erin, you need to talk about these allegations of corruption in the House of Assembly and these allegedly corrupt government. Okay, Texter, why do I need to talk about it? Tell me, why do I need to talk about it? I got a text here that says, JBCD going to sort that problem out. We choose progress. What is JBCD? Tell me that. Answer me that. And to the texter, why I have to talk about it, man? Why I have to talk about it? I don't think y'all remember when the Michael Johnson probe came up. I told y'all, I don't need to talk about the Michael Johnson probe to have a real conversation about what appears to be a detrimental breakdown in the RBPF. I could just talk about traffic and how people don't stop at stop signs and red lights in front of the police, and how people will do it in front of the police and the police ain't gonna do nothing about it. Like, I thought that would be sufficient for us to realize the urgency of examining the integrity of our public institutions. If you take care of the dollars, the pennies will take care of themselves. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. I know you are more than the dollars and the cents.
Good morning, sir.
You can on. You're full of it. Good stuff.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, but listen up. Yeah, BPL, they outside now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to cut a little short movie that they all wanted to purchase after I went down to their headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really, but I understand the conditions now that you are pointing them out. You know, the intermittent power supply, unregulated power supply, that can really damage your equipment. And then on top of that, when the road pavers are paving the road, mm-hmm. and they're grading the road, and they have this lift that takes up all the dirt and dump it into a truck, that lift goes higher than most of the wires that are coming across from the poles to us, and they're not looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole lot of, and mind you, there's about 5 or 6 of them doing that, but no one is looking out for, well, look, how do I make sure I don't create problems as I solve problems, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I think we need to revamp this whole way of thinking. And no, you don't have to talk about Michael, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Brave, or John, because it's obvious for those who can see exactly where he is. So we don't need to just continue to let the world know that we're in trouble.
And more to that, the type of conversation that I want to have about it requires a far more information that is available to us in the public domain, and B, it requires a maturity. And I'm not saying, though, that the whole of the Bahamas is not sufficiently mature to have this conversation, right? But there is what's the word? I don't know who's calling in, and I don't know what they're going to say. And I got to keep my finger on the button. And why do I determine that? Not necessarily because of the behavior of the callers historically, but because for the last 3 days, people on the internet been calling people's names like they don't know that these laws also apply to the internet. Like,
and you could be sued. You could be sued, and I'm pretty sure Guardian would have to take some money out of your salary.
Money is no money in the salary. They gonna have to get rid of me, and then I go owe them money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't even making enough money to take the risk, right? Because there's not enough information in the public domain for us to have a coherent conversation that, like, is clear and it makes sense. And then people just been reckless.
Yeah.
Talking about...
Tread carefully.
Absolutely.
Protect yourself. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am irreverent. There are many things that I will say on the airwaves, but I want you to know that I am trying very hard to measure my own words. We will talk about it. We will talk about it. It's just not enough information in the public domain for me to extend the conversation beyond what's been happening. On the way in, I talked to Chester. I asked him what y'all been talking about. Y'all been talking about this all morning. I get it. I get it. But what could I add? Like, I don't think I'm that important at this point in time that I could add much more to the conversation. Here are the things I do want to talk about, though. In yesterday's news, Eyewitness News, Gussie May Cabinet. FNM Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright is criticizing the Davis administration's newly announced cabinet, calling it a Gussie May cabinet and a huge betrayal of the Bahamian people. Now, Eyewitness News, in a poll, according to them, the Davis administration's new 29-member cabinet carries an estimated $1.9 million annual salary bill. A question I have to ask is, will we get value for money from this investment in human capital? Now, when Cartwright says, and a huge betrayal is in quotation marks, right? And I wonder, is he referring to this quote that Miss Dames, Candia Dames, shared over the last few days? This one here, from the PLP Deputy Leader, Philip Davis, in November of the year 2011. So we're talking approximately 14 and a half years ago. Quote, "The executive comes from the parliament and is answerable to the parliament. But when the prime minister co-opts almost the entire group of supporters from the House for his government, he corrupts the intent of the Constitution." Close quotes. Let me read it again. This is from Mr. Philip Brave Davis in his capacity as PLP Deputy Leader in November of the year 2011. Quote, "The executive comes from the parliament and is answerable to the parliament. But when the prime minister co-opts almost the entire group of supporters from the House for his government, he corrupts the intent of the Constitution." And see, that's just the cabinet, approximately $1.9 million, estimated to be about that, for this second Davis administration cabinet's annual salary bill. But what about the senators? What about the senators? Some of these already have 2 and 3 jobs. Why are you giving them another job? So today is Tuesday. On Sunday evening, I saw a list of senators floating around by a PLP agent that has a very, very good record for predictions. That's what they call it. I don't think what he's actually doing is predicting, but that's cool. And he suggested that we would have like 6 or 7 or 8 PLP senators. And then when I saw on Monday morning a flyer, the flyer only had 4 senators on it. I thought, is this guy wrong? Because he's often, he's never wrong, really. The 4 names, I think, were DeSante Benaby, Small, DeSante Small. Small is a married name. Robin Lines, Keenan S.P. Johnson, and Latrey Ramming. And I thought, come on, man, all of them have 8 jobs already. All of them have 8 jobs already. Why they need another paycheck? Right? And so I have this quote here from yesterday's news, Eyewitness News feed. Ramming appointment. Latrey Ramming has been appointed a government senator, saying he hopes to help increase youth interest and participation in politics. Ramming also confirmed that he remains Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister. Again, this was Eyewitness News, social media feed yesterday afternoon. It's already 2 jobs. Then I realized Clint Watson got a senatorship as well. Here's a headline, Journalism Laws. ZNS General Manager now this thing says newly elected Senator designate Clint Watson. See, now Clint Watson, I'm going to stick a pin right here. See why this was a bad move? We obviously need you back in journalism, hey? Because you know you weren't elected. You know you were appointed. I hope you personally wrote or called the media company to ask them to make the correction. The way that when we were children, Mr. Watson, the older people would write to ZNS after watching the nightly news broadcast, indicating any errors that occurred in the broadcast. That's why we need you back in journalism, Mr. Watson. But it leads me to ask the next question. Were you ever actually in journalism, Mr. Watson? Because people perceived you to be a government slayer. See, now that's a title. It's government slayer, and then right next to it is kingmaker, right? People thought you were a government slayer. And now we have to ask the question, was everything that you did and say on the airwaves simply an attempt to get into government? And during the time that you were broadcasting, then we have to ask the question, was this also a bipartisan move? See, because I hope that if ever I go into politics, if ever the Guy Fawkes Party could do a thing, but remember, we only have one member because there could only be one leader, right? But if we could ever do a thing, I hope people would say, yeah, she talked about politics a lot, but she didn't join any of the parties. She started her own party. Anyway, let's go back to the headline, Journalism Laws. ZNS General Manager, newly elected Senator designate Clint Watson says he'd like to see laws put in place to better protect the journalism industry. Questions about Watson's position as ZNS General Manager being a conflict of interest have been raised since the beginning of his political pursuit, and when asked if he'll be stepping down from the position, Watson told reporters, "News will come later." I love the pun. At least the bay witty and entertaining. I don't like it. I don't know how people feel about it, but I don't know. I don't have a choir. I can't sing. So let's go to the Davis administration cabinet. Oh, give me a second. Let me go to the text line. Sorry about that. See, thank you, texter. Oh, that's what that means. Glad you tell me what that means. Here we go. Erin, no need to talk about the corrupt government that stole the election and will be going to jail allegedly, but let's talk about why Scotiabank is closed down ever since May 13th. What you mean Scotiabank is closed down? Is there a specific that's closed? Is there a specific office in the entity that's closed? What you mean the whole bank? The whole bank is closed down since May 13th? Now, listen, I didn't say that I didn't want to talk about the election. In fact, if you are interested in the election, if you have questions, like if you think it's Junkanoo time and for the last week you've been shouting in your backyard, they rob us, right? I say to you, check out, please read this article in yesterday's Guardian, written by Candia Dames, right? The election results and analysis. And it walks you through the constituencies and the vote count, right? It's a great starting place. And then we're going to go to PRD and we're going to ask them for the raw data, right? We're going to ask them for the raw data so we could see the votes broken down by polling station, right? That's what, okay, so that's what you're going to do. Because the next thing I'm going to ask after I ask who is left to chair the agencies and sit on the boards and committees, then the next question is, who is left to start the civil society citizen action groups that will begin the work at the beginning of the term to hold government to account? Here is another text. It says Scotiabank ATMs are all down for days now, ever since the 13th of May. Okay, so here's a quick action that you could do right now. Contact the financial ombudsman. I think in the last Davis administration, the financial ombudsman was Ambrosia Hyler. I may be incorrect, but the first thing you do is contact the financial ombudsman. And that's a great place to start. All right. Another text. Good morning, Erin. Regarding this Lemony Snicket situation with the plane crash, search and rescue fiasco, one may be led to wonder. I wondered that too. I mean, for the Yankees to happen to just be is quite uncanny and a coincidence that almost defies the laws of probability. Oh, no, not uncanny at all. If you didn't know that the U.S. government and its relevant agencies have all eyes on the Bahamas right now, then you yourself must not have eyes. Here we go. Speaking of predictions, Julian actually predicted that right after election, a politician would be indicted by the U.S. Fancy that. Looks like he's going for 2 straight. Looks like, because I don't remember in reading anything that there was a mention of a Bahamian politician that was indicted, right? So it looks like it's possible that he could be going in that direction. But you know who could see? You know who could see? People who don't have eyes. They could see. So let's go to the Davis administration cabinet and the portfolio changes. We see that Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper has been placed in the Ministry of Education, Science, and Technology. And so the first question I have is, what happened to technical and vocational training? I think this is an important question to ask. The new ministry has been composed in this way: Education, Science, and Technology. What happened to vocational and technical training? Producer, let's prep the caller. And then when we go to Sebastian's ministry, Minister of Innovation and National Development, why isn't Science and Technology with innovation in Mr. Bastian's ministry? Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you. How you do?
Good. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
There are, I like the Ministry of Culture.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's about time.
What happened?
It's a very
okay.
good ministry.
Yeah.
I like who is leading it, because she has some experience in culture, and she was a beauty contest. I think all that will come under that.
Right, all of those
culture and arts and
her experiential knowledge and her the technical skills gained through time makes her an excellent candidate.
yes.
You know, I only have one problem, right?
What's that?
We still don't know what the
I know
Golden
you have a
Jubilee
problem.
costs.
What's your problem? Let me see if I can help you.
We still don't know what the Golden Jubilee costs. We still don't know what it costs.
To what? The ministry?
No, the Golden Jubilee.
Well, I guess,
Don't worry about that. We push that under the bridge right now.
no, we ain't going to push that under the bridge. We're going to be transparent and things.
Yeah.
I got to work on that for you. Just for you. You're my favorite.
Because here's where the problem could arise. I ain't saying it will or that it has, right?
Yeah.
Culture, and I love it, arts and heritage have a lot of intangibles in it, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to create sort of metrics and standards. I like that the BBSQ is on. We have to create metrics so that we can begin to measure sort of what the intangibles cost. Because it's going to be difficult for people to see it, So that's it.
She'll work that out.
There you go.
She should work that out.
But I think this is a good one.
I think it's a good start with the culture being in its own ministry.
Yeah, I for that.
Okay? But I can continue this. And I hear somebody said I got 2 straight. I got for 3 now.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. I got you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. Now, I say to everybody, if you want to get a sense of what opportunities could emanate from this new ministry for direct stakeholders like the Junkanews and people in the broader arts community and entrepreneur community, right? Read the Junkanoo Authority Bill Act. Read it. Go through it. First of all, it's a good read because the local channel playing TJ Hooker, I swear, we have to talk about this new regional policy for the shift of access to Global North television channels. We have to talk about it, both as like a business discussion and a political discussion, right? But the local TV's playing TJ Hooker. I almost break my TV yesterday. Somebody at BTC need to get my Wi-Fi up, please. Let's go to the phone line, producer. I got it. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Miss Greene. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I didn't hear Julian mention anything about that situation with Parliament.
That's because
Drug deal.
Julian is a statesman. He's savvy,
Okay.
and he realized he didn't have to mention it for it to be understood.
Yeah, I need him to talk about that for a little while.
No, man, because
that's
he's not a politician. First of
Thank
all,
you.
he's not a politician. We want the people whose voices have legal weight to speak. You know? And that's what I mean. He's not a politician. I don't expect him to be able to add to this public conversation. That's all. Here's a text. Good morning. I personally feel that the Senate is only a rubber stamp where the governing team is under telewhip and the opposition team are completely useless when it comes to passing laws. Quite frankly, I've lost the impression of credibility from the shadow puppet we call the Senate when a certain talk show host was appointed some years back, and look how we have another one to be placed there. The system really needs to change for real. Okay, so I think that the Senate it's not just a rubber stamp, it's become a reward, which should then prompt us to ask, well, what have they done to get here, right? The second point, because of the former, because of his personal attacks on me, I'm going to take this very seriously, right? I don't think that the Senate lost credibility because Mr. Munker was appointed to it. I think the Senate lost credibility because we treated his appointment like a joke, and then he, as a good entertainer does, followed the laughter. Mr. Munker, while in the Senate, before he was appointed to the Senate, said some things that rankled people, but with deeper interrogation had great value. For instance, if the only thing that Mr. Munker had said in his tenure as a senator was the quip about two meats, Mr. Munker created a space for us to talk about the allocation of government resources. See, because following from that, we could have a conversation about why is it that the judiciary does not have enough money to ensure an environment where files are where they're supposed to be when cases start, right? Like they don't have enough money to make sure the court operates at optimal function, but they have enough money for 10 meets for the Privy Council. And not just 10 meets once, 10 meets twice in the same trip. So sometimes it's us, and we miss the opportunity. We all Bible people, I don't know the scripture, but you say that the Bible say, that God say, he could use even a donkey. Even a donkey can be used to convey the message of Christ. Well, there you go. Here's another one. Did he say transparency while talking about the PLP? Those two don't mix. That's like saying you can light a fire underwater. Again, I take offense on behalf of the PLP. It is unfair to cast that behavior only on the PLP. Now, while I have said publicly the PLP's number one superpower must be the power of obfuscation. That's OBFUSCATION. Obfuscation. You got to look it up. Right? That's their number one superpower. But that doesn't mean the other parties don't practice it. They're just not as good at it as the PLP are. Morning, Erin. How could some of us be comfortable with this huge cabinet ministers? Boy, you don't care how the money is spent. Miss Bryce would have never got that minister post if Sabas was not elected, and you know that. Okay, so pause. The question is, here's how I think we would frame it. Would the Prime Minister or the Davis administration more broadly, even though y'all keep telling me the boss is the boss, would the Prime Minister have been compelled to push this matter forward if Mr. Bastian had not offered himself for politics? Right? I think that's a more effective way to frame it. Would the Davis administration have been compelled to push the issue if Mr. Bastian was not available to be a part of said cabinet? Another text, and then we're going to get back to the list. Okay. Post John Grisham, quote, agents and undercover agents, story in and out of, quote, people's, close quotes, quote, houses, close quotes. I said to myself last night, boy, in this place, truth is more shocking than fiction. I said, who needs Zedness when you have this much intrigue? Plus, they playing things like TJ Hook. I mean, they playing shows that are 20 plus years old. I'm not sure if we understand collectively what this does to us culturally and what it does to young Bahamians forming identity. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to the phone line and then back to our list. Oh, call, sorry I missed you. I hope it wasn't because you ran out of minutes. The text says, now I have to go take another look at the stranger-than-life details of Bahamians mentioned. Oh, I thought you was going to say in the NIGARD files. You use a different name. Because some of these people could end up in our house too. Listen, let me tell you something. Did you all notice that NIGARD, that there's an article out there, and the title of the article is NIGARD, I'm a victim. We ever prosecute anybody over this NIGARD thing? You remember the article where he said they discovered a 7,700 name database? Is it 7,400 name database? What's the difference between 300 names in a 7,000 plus name database? We're going to a break. When we get back from the break, we're going to continue our interrogation or assessment of the new Davis administration's cabinet choices and portfolio changes. You're on the clock with Erin Greene. We'll be right back.
Hey, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
But he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, John, you don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody. I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
Alright, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call crime Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So what are the boy?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info? And when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Early in the morning, as the sun is dawning, I go to the well to get my water today. Get me wood from the bush to make me tea, and eat my bread till I fill my belly. Then I get ready to go outside and play. Get my friends from next door to run with me to the store to get some salt beef and flour for mama to cook. We pick some limes from the tree, and we pick some sapodilly. Then we make some switcher to drink to wash down the food. My Bahamian thing, growing up on the island, catching my fish with my bait and my line. Growing up on the island, sitting on the rock, everything is fine.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. Through the Davis administration's cabinet choices and the portfolio changes. Good morning, Eleuthera Erin. Boy, JC, good morning. The Prime Minister gave Chester Cooper entry, so he have to deal with Belinda. Boy, listen, I had some tougher questions to get to, because Minister of Education is a thankless job. Even when you do well, and this is what somebody told me, even when you do well, you will not see the results for a number of years, and that's if the person who may come in after you doesn't change up things so significantly that it offsets any progress made. When I saw that Glenys Hanna Martin got tourism, right, I say that's also another kind of thankless ministry, because, first of all, everybody mad at tourism because they got all the money, right? But also your results are dependent on so many external global factors. But I also remembered when Glenys Hanna Martin, as a member of the Davis cabinet, made a very strong statement opposing some elements of a new tourism move, and was quickly shut down. At that point, I questioned whether we were seeing a massive shift in the leadership of this Davis administration. So now Glenys Hanna Martin has tourism, but aviation and investments is no longer there. Will investments go to Where is Mr. Fitzgerald? Will investments go to the Minister of Economic Affairs? And here's my thing. If Mr. Fitzgerald was doing such a great job, so good of a job that we get this headline, this article, The Silent Architect, Jerome Fitzgerald and the Art of the Political Masterpiece, right? Why wouldn't you just leave him in the Office of the Prime Minister Deliverables Unit as the senior policy advisor? Like, why wouldn't you just leave him there? Okay, let's get back to the list. Aviation is now with JoBeth Colby Davis, and the new ministry is called the Ministry of Energy, Utilities, and Aviation. Now, here's a question that I have. This actually seems to be a good alignment, right? Why didn't you align it like this initially? See, because in the previous Davis administration, we saw a deconstruction of Ministry of Works. We saw water and sewerage placed in the Office of the Prime Minister. We saw BPL move to the Ministry of Energy by itself. And then I think BTC was also managed from the Office of the Prime Minister, because I don't think social services, information and broadcasting, I don't think that that's what Wilchcombe, that's what Wilchcombe was focused on. So now we have Wayne Monroe as the AG and Minister of Legal Affairs. Fred Mitchell remains as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But here's the question. If Darren Pickstock is the Minister of State for Immigration in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, why wouldn't he be the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs with responsibility for immigration? Why is it worded this way? Producer, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'd like to speak with Miss Greene a minute, please.
You're on the air?
Oh, Miss Greene, how are you? Listen, the big Gussie May cabinet, the government house, if you could think about it and look at it, everybody in there now is to grease their own pockets and to come out in 5 years as millionaires. They don't have no regards for the Bahamian people who are count and go off it. They don't care about the Bahamians. They don't get them drunk, stole the election, and they're on top.
I hear you.
That plane crash is going to bring us.
Okay. So, there are a lot of people right now who's going to say, Erin, you should have shut that call down from the very beginning. But you know what? It's not unreasonable for people to speculate about what happens in between the opening of Parliament and the yearly disclosure. And what happens between the opening of Parliament and the next election when you get disclosed again. Now, some people are going to say the Public Disclosure Act is a waste of time. Those people are politicians. Those people are people who sit in the House where they could make it effective through amendments or repealing the whole thing and starting over again. It is most often the people who have the power to fix the law that like to laugh up in my face and tell me how ineffective the law is. Hey, what a time. Y'all hear that music? All right. So Minister of Health and Wellness is Darville. Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs remains the same. I can tell y'all once again, I want to know why housing and land reform are in the same ministry. I need a rationale. I need somebody to say it out loud. Just say it out loud. Why is housing and land reform in the same ministry? And out the gate, tell us what we can expect from this ministry. Labor, public service in the NIB makes sense. Environment and natural resources. I don't know why we have a ministry. Might as well just put that back in the OPM's office. Minister of Transport. This is exciting because we have perhaps the most articulate Bahamian leading the Ministry of Transport. It stands alone, hopefully, so it could get the attention that it requires. Boy, that man articulate. I just hope he don't use it to continue the obfuscation of the PLP party. Some interesting changes. The last one for the day, urban renewal and community relations. I'm very interested to find out what that means, community relations. But congratulations to Lisa Ramming for this ministry post. When we get back tomorrow, we're going to have Dr. Ian Strawn in studio. We're going to ask the big question. Did you have satire on your high school English exam? And more questions than that. More questions than that. Thank you, producer. And again, read the article by Candia Dames, The Election Results and Analysis. It's a great, thorough breakdown of the votes and the election. Anyway, thanks, producer. Thank you to callers and texts. I'm sorry. Oh, good. We got through all the texts. No, we didn't. This text says, I produced a 5-episode docu-series that ZNS will not purchase, but they purchased American Crime Series. The Orange economy is all talk. You don't worry, them things they purchased, they from 1975. We all done solved the mystery by now. You guys have a great day. Stay tuned for Guardian Radio AM with CA News.
This country was saying something, Jack. Trust me. And you know that I know you know that what I say is true. Oh my.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.